You're listening to Cosmic Cousins Soul-Centered Astrology for grounding your ass from all the new age sass. I am your host, Jeff Hinshaw. Season 6 of Cosmic Cousins is a bi-monthly astrology offering released every new and full moon. And it's dedicated to honoring the interconnectedness of our universal family through embodied health, self-discovery, and deeper learning. Welcome to Leo's season. I'm sitting on my bed right now. I've got my shirt off because I had to turn the fans off to record this, and it's super hot in Los Angeles. I'm sunburnt. I'm growing my hair out. It looks crazy. I'm eating watermelon. And oh my goddess, it must be Leo's season. Mercury goes direct this week. Mercury retrograde has been really intense over here for me. There's been a lot of cancellations, computer malfunctions, spilling vinegar, and really going into some reworkings in my relationship. So this new moon, this Leo new moon, what have you learned over Mercury retrograde? Mercury going direct the same day as Leo new moon is wanting to know. So the Leo new moon, it's the last day of July 31st, 2019. I'm recording this the day before, right here in this waning crescent of the Cancer moon and Leo season. And really, to understand the Leo new moon, I think it's great to just first start with understanding Leo. So right now, as I'm saying this, I'm putting my hand on my chest. And I'm making contact to this part of the body. Leo rules over the heart. And so I'm patting my chest. I'm feeling super stoked to be here and to dive into the radiant charisma and warmth that is the fiery fearlessness of fixed fire Leo, the regal lion. And of course, you know, the Lion King was released right here at the beginning of Leo's season. I haven't seen it yet. I probably will at some point, though, just because why not? It's Leo season. And it's connecting me to my childhood self. This is some of the work that we're going to be doing and talking about here with Leo. So Sun in Leo, July 23rd to August 22nd. This is a time of year on the northern hemisphere when the world is awake. And it's awake with personality. If you look around you, the flowers and the trees are at their climax. They're at their fullest expression. And they aren't competing with each other. I think this is important to understand. Like, we can think of sunflowers connect us to the energy of Leo. And when you look at a field of sunflowers, they're not competing with each other. Who's the most vibrant of them all? They're all just expressing themselves. So we have some sunflowers that are standing like 6 foot tall. We have other sunflowers that might have a few petals that are bent as if like winking or waving to us. And then there's some that are bowing their head down reverently. Each sunflower has its own personality, and each of us do as well. And so it's not about competition and the high vibration of Leo, but it's about expressing ourselves and our full authenticity. So if we look to the sign before, we were in Cancer season, and we're leaving behind the Cancer eclipse. So we're leaving behind the intergenerational healing, the sentimental, nostalgic family vacation time of Cancer. And we're still on vacation. It's still summertime. There's still a sense of personal adventure, and that really shines through during Leo season. So this is a time of year where we are inclined to hang out rather than with our family, more with our closest friends, or maybe we hang out with ourselves. We really start to come back to who we are as individuals and what makes us happy and what brings us joy. And for some of this might feel more difficult to get to this place this time of year. Anger, to be sure, can ensue this time of year, right? We're in the fire element. We might be feeling really dramatic, too. The drama of Leo. Leo feels life really intensely. If you are a Leo sun, moon, or rising, you answer to the energy of the sun. And so when we can think the sun changes signs every 30 days, Leos really feel the shift of the astrological sun seasons, maybe more than some. Whereas Cancer, we know, is ruled by the moon and is going through those cycles in a month. or in a month, we could say. So, what is your relationship to the sun? What is your relationship to Leo energy? Where does it live in your chart? Where are you feeling into this drama? So the sun is above us, right? It's blaring hot. And we're right smack dab in the middle of summer on the northern hemisphere, in the middle of winter on the southern hemisphere. So this is a fixed sign, fixed fire, baby. Can you feel the flames? So even though we are here in fire, I think it's important to note that just because Cancer season is over does not mean the emotions and tears go away. For some of us, we might feel that. But for a lot of us, we might be feeling things really intensely. The world around us, we're becoming very conscious of. The sun shines a conscious light to things, right? So during Leo season, it's a time when emotions may feel heightened. People may act out in big and bold ways. And because there is a sense of more focus on the individual self, it's an intrapersonal fire sign. Intra, I-N-T-R-A, going into the depths of oneself in fire. Listening to the wild primal desires that live underneath. And so something that might not have bothered you at another time in the year may have its chance to come out and play. Something from the subconscious realms. This is our subconscious fire sign. We have Aries, our conscious fire, Leo, subconscious fire, Sagittarius, superconscious fire. And so working with the subconscious fiery energy, it's important for us during Leo season is to become conscious of our subconscious patternings. Otherwise, they might act out as like a temper tantrum. Otherwise, they might act out as like a lion that is going wild, right? And so really trusting in the subconscious realm through this fiery lens. So we're still in the emotions here. So Leo season, right? Emotions feel heightened. People act out in big and bold ways. And we are saying the sun shines a light to everything. So this marks a time of year where we become very conscious. And so that can be intense. Leo season, it's very hot in Los Angeles right now. Life feels really full throttle. And I know this in some ways makes me have to be really in the present moment to shine a light to conscious reality. We're gifted opportunities to reconnect to the power and teacher that is life. So this idea of life, we're coming up against it. So this means new possibilities flash into our lives this time of year. A sense of purpose might reemerge, and hopefully with a sense of joy. So many of us may feel the lower vibration of Leo, which could be feeling really burnt out. Fixed, as a fixed fire sign can get stuck in something, stuck in the heat. This is burnout. So really allow yourself to rest this time of year in a way that is playful. Like I know for me, next week I am going on vacation. I'm going to the Outer Banks of North Carolina for a week. And I am turning off my email. I'm not doing anything. And I have to do that. I have to gift myself this. And this is something during Leo season, if you have the space in your life to do so, fixed fire, carve out some space to really create safe boundaries in relationship to your creativity. So I'm going to read a book. I'm going to read a novel. I'm not even going to think about astrology. I'm going to try not to. So if we aren't grounded in our individuality this time of year, if we're unsure about our rights to express our unique contributions to the world, we could also find ourselves facing low self-esteem. We could find ourselves facing shame. I mean, some Leos might feel more into this side of himself. Leo can be a quite introverted energy when it is not being refueled. And so fire gets refueled by air, words of affirmation. Tell the people in your life that you love them, right? But also communicate what it is that you desire. Fire is evolving through air. Leo's evolving through Aquarius. So if we don't allow ourselves to do that, we might find ourselves acting out in ways that might feel childish. We might travel without purpose. We might halt in the heat altogether. And so when moving through Leo energy, it's important to remember to refuel yourself through social interaction, through play, through inner child healing, while being mindful of your responsibility, your leadership, your loyalty, the things that you're proud of. Fixed fire. So I have the tarot cards out here that represent Leo. And I think before we go into this deep dive on Leo and the Leo new moon, I just want to say, hey, hello, welcome to the show. My name is Jeff. I'm an astrologer and author, teacher, poet. And season 6 of this show, Cosmic Cousins, it's bringing you astrology through a mystical lens. We're amping up the witch on season 6. So what that means is episodes are released on every new and full moon. So we are aligning ourselves with the rhythm of the moon for this season. And I'm also incorporating more tarot into the practice of astrology. This is something that has kind of been evolving. I've just noticed on season 6, I've been bringing the tarot cards out more. And I think that's because we're not doing the Queen of the Zodiac project anymore. So the tarot is kind of been a nice fill-in. And it's a big part of my practice. So from now on, you can know during season 6, on every episode, we're going to be talking about the tarot cards that I use to connect myself to the energy of whatever astrological transits we're moving through at that time. And so I'm also a tarot teacher. I lead a 6-month journey of self-discovery through the lens of the tarot. And I really utilize both the practice of astrology and tarot in tandem. And so that 6-month journey starts every January, goes from January to June. So if you're interested in that, you're interested in booking a reading with me, astrologycousins.com. I also have some mentorship opportunities available starting this fall and a 12-week course coming up this fall as well. So astrologycousins.com, or sign up for the mailing list to stay up to date on all of that. So yeah, another announcement I have, which I think is pretty exciting, and now that Mercury's going direct, I can announce this. But so here on the show, we've been working on something called Queen of the Zodiac. And so last year, during 2018 and 2019, we crowned a queen for each astrological sign. So we're going to talk about Viola Davis today, our Queen of Leo. But also, since Virgo season's coming up, and this is going to be the initiation into it, I am doing a limited edition Queen of Virgo t-shirts and coffee mugs. And so I'm not posting about this on Instagram. I'm only announcing it here on the show. So if you would like a Queen of Virgo t-shirt with Beyonce on it, and it's a gorgeous picture of Beyonce. I'll have it in the newsletter this week so that you can see a picture of it. It's allowing us to feel into the reverent energy of Virgo. Send me an email by the full moon. The full moon is going to be on August 15th. So send me an email, jeff@brooklynfools.com, and in the subject, just say Queen of Virgo, and then tell me what your t-shirt size is, or tell me if you want a coffee mug, and I'll set you up with a link for that. And you'll have that by Virgo season. Hopefully by the beginning of Virgo season, maybe a few days later or so. But then you can rock your Queen of Virgo Beyonce shirt or mug during that time. And this is just a limited edition. I'm just doing it for fun. It's not necessarily to make money even. It's just something fun for us to do. And so, yeah, send me an email if you're interested in that. So thank you, as always, for being here and tuning into the show. If you would like to support the show, you could make a monthly contribution at patreon.com/Cosmic Cousins. Any contribution that you can make helps me with the show. This is a free offering to you. And so if you listen every week and you'd like to make a contribution, patreon.com/Cosmic Cousins. There's a link in the show notes. And so, yeah, on this week's episode, we're going to talk about understanding Leo and the Leo new moon. We're going to reflect a bit on Mercury retrograde. We will also be honoring the life of legendary Leo JK Rowling, author of the Harry Potter series. And we'll be talking about the tarot cards that are associated with Leo, which is the Sun, the King of Wands, and Strength. But before we get into all of that, let's bring our awareness to our bodies and to our breath for a little meditation for embodied health. So deep, nourishing inhales, a deep exhale, allowing yourself to arrive to this meditation. Here on Cosmic Cousins, we always carve out some time and space to ground our energy through mindfulness and holistic healing. And each astrological sign is connected to a different part of the body. So during this time, we'll always connect to that part of the body. And so Leo is connected to the heart, the actual organ of the heart. So this is different than the heart chakra, which is the energy in and around the heart. So we're actually connecting to the organ. Leo also rules over the chest. So you can take a deep breath into all of these parts, explore this part of the body with the loving attention of your breath. And so as you take a deep inhale into the heart, maybe you place your hands here and just simply notice what you feel here today. You can roll your shoulders up and towards your ears and then down your back. You can allow the shoulder blades to draw towards one another, giving you a slight lift through the chest. You can allow the palms to be face up as we connect into the heart. Let's begin to tune into the Leo new moon. New moons offer us a time of silence and stillness. It's a time when we realign our conscious reality, which is the sun, with our subconscious reality, which is the moon. They're aligned in the sky. And so we're doing this through the lens of Leo. How does Leo on the inside line up with Leo on the outside? This new moon is particularly special for many reasons because we are leaving behind the Cancer eclipse season and Mercury goes direct. And whenever Mercury transitions from retrograde to direct, there's a moment of stillness created when we're being asked to really deeply listen. And so here with the Leo new moon, we're carving out space to deeply listen to the wisdom of our hearts. The seeds that we are planting on this new moon, I think it's really nice to keep it simple. How might you invite more joy into your life? Breathe that into the heart and listen to how the heart might respond. How might you invite more joy into your life? Just notice what wants to come up. This is your invitation for the Leo new moon. So as you breathe into the heart, connect to whatever's coming up. How might you invite more joy into your life? What is it that makes you feel happy and joyful? And so there's 3 layers to the Leo energy. And we can think of them as 3 different figures. So layer 1 is the inner child. And so this feels like the lion cub. So bring to your mind and to your heart your childhood self. Can you revisit a moment from your childhood when you were fully vibrant and expressing yourself freely? And so right now, a memory of me lip syncing to the Spice Girls while watching their music video is coming to mind. Can you connect to a memory in your childhood where you were expressing yourself freely? Can you connect to the fearless, childlike creative energy that's within yourself? And so, when did this part of yourself shut down? And has it? What walls have you built? Maybe to protect this innocence of the inner child. So just tune in. What does your relationship to the inner child feel like today? For some of us, it might feel really happy and expressive. For others, there might be like a temper tantrum happening. Or maybe even like a lack of self-esteem, shutting down. So connect to this part of yourself. Visualize your childhood self here on this Leo new moon. How might you make a promise to allow more space and freedom for this side of yourself to be expressed, to be loved, to be seen? So go ahead and tell your inner child, I see you, I love you, I appreciate you, you're beautiful. Just notice what this brings up for you. And how might it reconnect us to that first prompt of how might you invite more joy into your life? What does the inner child have to say about this? And so this is layer 1 of our meditation, layer 1 of Leo energy. Layer 2, we're going from the baby cub now to the lion. This is the adult. This is layer 2 of Leo, the adult you. Leo as fixed fire is really holding space through passion, through creative expression, is very uplifting. So this energy of the adult or the lion, it's looking out for the tribe. It's the pack leader. You can think of king of the jungle here. How are you king of the jungle in your life? How have you blossomed into the adult that you are today? Leo wants us to honor this side of yourself too. So it's not just about inner child healing. It's also about healing your relationship to your confidence and the way that you see yourself as an adult. So check in with your adult self. Can you tell this part of yourself how proud you are? Maybe you even view this adult part of yourself as a child would. So take a moment. How does a child perceive you? How does a child look up to you? Maybe how does your inner child feel about this adult side of yourself? What are the parts of yourself that might feel scary to a child? Maybe it's a time that you cussed a telemarketer out on the phone or laid on your horn to the person who cut you off. Connect to these moments where you might be a bit fierce or have these fiery expressions of emotion that might make an inner child feel scared or a child feel scared. So what relationship is being cultivated between your inner child and your adult self or your inner adult? And so here on this Leo new moon, how might you commit to finding a more loving and harmonious relationship between these two parts of yourself? So this takes a great deal of enormous compassion and understanding on both the child's part and on the adult's part. So this is allowing us to soften into the flames of compassion of Leo. Inner child healing, adult responsibility. And this now takes us into layer 3 of Leo. So you can breathe into the crown chakra here. Layer 3 of Leo is connecting us to source energy. It's the sun. It's the higher power. It's God. So spend time really meditating on the sun this time of year and all that the sun has to offer us. The beautiful thing about the sun, the earth tilts on her axis, right? And moves through the sky. So we're expanding out now. The sun offers a blessing by shining a light to everything, but the sun never actually goes away. We think that when the sun sets that the sun's gone, but really when we're expanding out beyond our own personal self, we're just turning away from the sun. So there is a sense of pure radiance, of unconditional love that the sun exudes. So this is the first lesson when we're in this layer 3 of Leo, which is source. No matter who you are, young, old, child, adult, pure intentioned or ill-willed, the sun will grace you with the warmth of his touch. So this is unconditional love. This is the unconditional love of Leo and of the sun. And so in many cultures, the sun is often portrayed as the great father. So this message and meditation that I think is perhaps the most important thread to understanding the energy of Leo is that we are all great and small children of God, or children of the sun. So every single one of us, despite where we come from, are who our actual birth parents are, right? We're leaving behind the intergenerational healing or the family energy of Cancer and connecting to ourselves as individuals. The sun will never discriminate against you. The sun is always there to support you, is always there to shine a light on your path. This individuation process is so important, and it really wraps up this Leo energy nicely. So what is your relationship to a higher power? What is your relationship to God, to Source? And I encourage you not to replace this idea of Source with the universe. We're not talking about what is your relationship to the universe, at least not for this meditation. So the universe is very much the polar sign to Leo, which is Aquarius. Astrology is connected to the practice of Aquarius. So really, Leo's season is balancing us, Leo, to our astrology practice. Aquarius is connected to the stars in the sky. It's connected to the planets, the cosmos. But Leo is asking us to be very present with the here and the now, and to not necessarily look towards the universe or the cosmos for answers, but to look towards Source, towards Sun, towards God. And I'm not implying that Leo is monotheistic, although in some ways it might feel that way, because Leo is about personality, it's personification. What is your relationship to a higher power that feels singular? And so for some of us, meditating on the sun is wonderful. The singular, vibrant, expressive source of energy that gives us life and light and refuels us. It allows us to see the world for the truth that is with the power of its light, right? So Leo, Sun, Moon, Rising really benefits by having a higher power it looks up to. We could say a higher purpose. And so the sun reminds us of that. Waking up in the morning, devoting yourself to the sun through sun salutations, or perhaps a devotion to God, or a devotion to your expression, your craft. And we can start to see how this is blending us into Virgo. There's a spectrum here in this astrology world. So Cancer, Leo, and Virgo are all in this second quadrant of the wheel. So what is your guiding light? And so connecting to the inner child, what is your inner child's relationship to the higher power? How does it feel about this? What is your adult self's relationship to this higher power? So on this Leo new moon, we are realigning ourselves with all three of these parts of ourselves: child, adult, higher self, higher power. And when all three of these parts of yourself are aligned, they manifest as a joyful purpose. It manifests in a way that is not taking life so seriously. There's a sense of humor. There's an infectious laugh. It's the charisma to inspire others, to build camaraderie. So today on this new moon, setting the intention for deeper alignment with your child, adult, and source self, so that from this moment forward, you can step forward from a place of grounded confidence, compassion, purpose, and joy. And so may you have the power and the strength to express your desires in a way that is in a loving alignment with your higher self. I am that, and that I am. This is the esoteric phrase for Leo. So let's talk a little bit about I think that in the meditation, I started really getting into some of the soul-centered parts of Leo. That almost felt like a meditation and a deep dive at the same time, which was kind of cool. But I've got the 3 cards out here that connect us to the energy of Leo. So if you have your tarot cards, go ahead and get them out. We've got the Sun card. The Sun card is connecting us to the ruling planet for Leo, which is the Sun. We've got the major arcana card, Strength, which is the soul growth card for Leo. That's what I like to call it, the soul growth card. And then we've got the King of Wands, which is connecting us to the energy of fixed fire. So fixed are the kings, fire is the wands, so King of Wands. So ruling planet for the sun, for Leo is the sun. So the sun card, when we look at it, what we see is it's a child. Hello, inner child healing. That is completely naked and is riding a horse and has their arms spread out wide and is wearing a flower crown with a red feather. And then there's sunflowers in the background that are growing out of a wall. And then there is this red cloth or scarf that is flowing in the wind, or perhaps it looks like it might be a flag that it's attached to a pole. And so, yeah, that's what I'm seeing now. The child is holding this flag. And so there's a sense of celebration here. But the card is called the sun. It's not called the child. And so at the top of the card is this very bold and regal looking sun. Its face on it is piercing almost. And so it's got all of these golden rays coming off of it, and holds a sense of authority here in the sky. And so remember the 3 parts that we were talking about of Leo in the meditation? Here we see them on the sun card. So the sun card, it represents the self. It's our one's way of being in the world. It represents this harmonious expression of both our ego and our higher self. So the child, on this card, is representing that pure essence. It's connecting us to Leo themes of inner child healing and creativity. And so the sun is representing responsibility, it's power, it's giving unconditionally, which we talked about in the meditation. So when Leo is operating from their soul-centered self, Leo is both child and father. And so the horse is also coming to represent the subconscious realm, or the wild and primal part of ourselves. So it's slightly different than the meditation where we're doing child, adult, higher self, our God, our sun. But here it's conscious, subconscious, and superconscious that we feel working itself out. And so this is a reminder of ourself that this time of year, or if you are a Leo, how can you be gentle with your words? How can you be gentle with your inner child that lives within, right? So this energy of Leo is so cool because it allows us to feel into the regal presence of being a king, while also honoring and holding space for yourself as a child and also for other children in your life. And so Whitney Houston is a wonderful example of this in her song what's it called? I believe the children are our future, or part of the lyrics. And in this video, she walks across the stage, hello Leo, and greets her childhood self, and they embrace each other. Whitney Houston is a Leo's sun with a Pisces rising. She's a passionate little girl, Leo's sun, riding a horse at sunrise, Aries moon, making music that connects us with the cosmos. So be easy on yourself and others. We're more susceptible to deeper, more primal emotions this time of year. Leo invites us into inner child healing, so consider how you might talk to a child. And if you're in a relationship or any sort of partnership, how might you also honor their child self? So stay away from talking down to others. Stay away from talking down to yourself. Instead, how might you adopt a more gentle approach? So this is all in the sun card, and it's kind of segueing us into the soul growth card for Leo, which is strength. Strength shows a woman wearing all white. She's got flowers draped around her, and she is petting a lion who has the tail between his legs, and it looks like his mouth and tongue his mouth's open, his tongue's hanging out, and it looks like he's quite enjoying this. And then she's also got an infinity symbol halo above her head, and she's in rolling green fields. There's a mountain off in the distance, and the sky is yellow. It's this vibrant golden yellow. So I'm using Pamela Coleman Smith's version, the Smith Centennial version of this deck. And strength card is also the inner strength to practice compassion with yourself, encouraging yourself and others to strike the match of your own desires, to step forward with your most understanding self. So this is a time of year to tell those that you're closest to, I love you. And by the way, Venus is hanging out in Leo next to the new moon. So there is this relationship aspect that's coming into play here. So I think this could be a good time to kind of talk about some of the other transits and things that are happening right now. So Mars is also in Leo right now. Venus is in Leo, Sun is in Leo, and then Mercury enters Leo on August 11th. So we've got some time. So Mercury is going direct. It will be in Cancer, and then on August 11th, it re-enters Leo. And so this will be Sunday, August 11th, right before the full moon. And so once that happens, like all of the personality planets will be in Leo. But what's also cool is right now we have a grand trine forming in the sky. And so I want to, just so I can be exact with you, I pull up the current chart so I can give you the degrees. But the sun is will be at the 8th degree of Leo for the new moon. And right now we also have Chiron at the 5th degree of Aries. This is deep healing and relationship to our sense of self, to identity. Healing around individuality and selfhood, our pioneering nature, is communicating with this fixed fire energy of passion, of creating safe boundaries for our joy, for our compassion, for our leadership. And then we've also got Jupiter, the planet of expansion, is in Sagittarius. And that's at the 14th degree. So it's not an exact grand trine, but I really feel these three energies connecting with each other. So we've got Jupiter and Tina Turner, we've got Chiron and Maya Angelou, and Sun and Viola Davis. And so we have these three fire energies, and I have been reflecting on the fire element, and I actually put it out to our followers on the Instagram for the show, where I put the Great 8 for each of the Fire Sign Queen series. And so when I'm looking at these, some of our Leo Great 8, we have Whitney Houston, Madonna, Lucille Ball, Tori Amos, Kate Bush, Angela Bassett, Viola Davis, JK Rowling. So that's our Leo fires. For Aries, we have Aretha Franklin, Lady Gaga, Maya Angelou, Gloria Steinem, Selena, Yayoi Kusama. And then Sagittarius, we've got Sarah Silverman, Joan Didion, Janelle Monáe, Marina Abramovich, Shirley Chisholm, Tina Turner, Britney Spears. So these are our fire signs. And so I put it out to the community and I asked what were people feeling. And so this is some of the stuff that people said by looking at all of the fire queens together. Warmth and honesty. Someone said, Leo feels the brightest. People love to watch a fire burn. They all look so fierce and like they know something powerful, a cool secret. Can't stop staring. Their fire demands your immediate attention. Shattered molds in every field and genre scattered across these titles. Sagittarius intellect feels strong. There's a seriousness underneath the flame. As a similarity, all artists and creators in their own way. Outward seduction. Fire is not hiding sexuality, whereas water is hidden, mysterious sexuality. Extremely expressive in costuming and outward appearance. Feminism, lots of fighters for feminine power. The emotionality ranges. Sagittariuses feel more like the water emotion, which feels weird to say. I thought that was interesting. Whereas Aries really stands out with their activism. Someone else wrote, there's a darkness to Sagittarius. And then I responded and I said, let's remember that Sagittarius takes us into the darkest and the shortest days of the year on the northern hemisphere. So Sagittarius has integrated the shadow of Scorpio. And Sagittarius is also learning about darkness through its polar sign Gemini, which is the dance of light and dark. So there is this fierce and unapologetic energy to the fiery flames. So Aries rules over the sunrise, Leo is high noon, and then Sagittarius is a midnight bonfire. And so by observing our fire queens together, we can upgrade our understanding of this bold and dynamic element. So fire signs, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, these three vibrant signs all exude a warmth, a spark for life and independence. And like fire itself, fire tends to be uplifting, and it reminds us that this human experience is sacred and worth living. So you can think about the times that we light candles. They're often lit during holidays, during birthdays, to celebrate and commemorate an initiation into a new phase of life. And so fire is only coming out in short spurts. We don't have fire all the time. So fire signs need a lot of time to recover and to refuel too. Fire signs evoke the spirit of gratitude and celebration. We light candles during ceremonies or vigils, and this is to memorialize someone's life. So there's a deeper and reverent side to the faithful flame too. It's a very spiritual energy. And so when we're talking about Jupiter and Sagittarius, you can also mark your calendar for this. Jupiter in Sagittarius goes direct. It's been retrograde all summer. And so just FYI, these outer planets go retrograde when they're in between the elements that are on the other side of the wheel. So between Aries and Leo season, since Jupiter's in Sag, Jupiter goes retrograde. And it goes direct in Leo season. So Jupiter went retrograde during Aries season, fire, retrograded all the way up until Leo season when it goes direct. So Jupiter goes direct on August 11th, which is the same day that Mercury enters Leo. So we're going to feel a huge shift on Sunday, August 11th. And by the time we get to the full moon in Aquarius, full moon in Oprah Winfrey, we are really going to be aiming towards a future with optimism and hope. So Jupiter in Sagittarius is really about expanding the horizons of our mind and world through travel and cultural understanding. And so if you're thinking about starting a new course or traveling somewhere else in the world, start making those plans around August 11th. And then Jupiter will be in Sag throughout the rest of the year. And then in December, we'll go into Capricorn. So right now, we're really bringing a lot of healing to our individuality, Chiron and Aries, learning how to authentically express ourselves and our desires with joy, Leo Sun, and allowing ourselves to expand with faith through philosophy and world travel, Jupiter and Sagittarius. So whatever high visions that you have for yourself, this Leo new moon we're starting to cook it. And come the Aquarius full moon, we'll have an opportunity to really look towards the future with hope and optimism. Another thing that's really faded right now, I would think, in these aspects is right now we have some Pisces energy going on. So Pisces is what is called in conjunct to Leo. And when I look at this chart for the new moon, what I'm seeing is that Mars is in Leo at the 18th degree, and Neptune is in Pisces at the 18th degree. So they're at the same degree. This is called in conjunct, which is also called the finger of fate or the finger of God. And so when this lines up, there's a lot to learn because Leo and Pisces are on opposite sides of the wheel, but they're not polar. Leo's polar sign is Aquarius. And so here we have Pisces is next to Aquarius. And so this is in conjunct. And what it means is that they're in different elementations, they're in different modalities, and they're in a different layer of consciousness. So the fixed energy of Leo is focused, whereas the mutable energy of Pisces is intuitive and moving. Mars is forward motion. Neptune is, in a lower form, deception, but also imagination, other worlds of consciousness, spirituality. So Pisces, as this collective, mutable, water, emotional, intuitive, spiritual energy, is also saying, on this new moon, can you really allow yourself to be very intuitively mindful of your spiritual progress as you make the decisions that you're making at this time? So this feels very fated because it is the finger of fate aspect. And then we also have Black Moon Lilith in Pisces, making that same in conjunct to the Sun and Moon in Leo. And so this is a time of shining a light to these more Piscean, watery, mystical energies. So our final tarot card for Leo. So we've got Strength, which I started talking about. I'll talk a little bit more about Strength before we go into the King of Wands. So when Strength shows up in a tarot reading, it reminds us to be really gentle with our emotions and desires. And so when we fully listen to their calling, we create space for our intuition to emerge. And so Strength encourages us to answer the roar of our inner lion with a brave heart. And so this card represents all three parts of the self coming together in a similar way that the Sun card did. And so the lion represents our primal self, our subconscious self. The woman in all white represents the purity of consciousness. And then the infinity symbol represents superconsciousness, or our connection to source. And so Leo learns through a spiritual connection to listen to and soothe their primal emotions. So this allows Leo to act from a place of gentle authority. And then we go into the fixed fire, King of Wands. And so wands tell the story of adventure, right? Wands, fire, it's adventure, it's energy, it's ambition, it's creativity, it's purpose. It can be travel. But with this fixed energy, King of Wands isn't necessarily traveling as much as sitting down. So when it's matched with this very masterful vibration of the king, this grounds the fiery nature of the wand suit into embodiment, into actualization. So the King of Wands basks in the sun of his own will. He's so sure of himself, he's so sure of his purpose and his ideals that he seizes the moment. We see this king is sitting on the edge of his seat, looking out into a desert landscape, and there's a lizard at his foot. And then he has lions on his throne, and he's wearing orange. And he's holding his wand very confidently. And so he offers an active approach to structure and order. He sits very erect on the edge of his throne, so this very present and awake. So he's ready to claim his creative endeavors that are in line with his greater vision. And that's also what we're doing this time of year. And that's also what JK Rowling has done through her life and work. So at this time, let's transition into honoring the life of the great JK Rowling.
Only I can live forever.
JK Rowling is a British novelist, philanthropist, film and television producer, and screenwriter, best known for writing the Harry Potter fantasy series. Her books have won multiple awards and sold more than 500 million copies, becoming the best-selling book series in the history of this planet. Here is a quote from J.K. Rowling. "It is impossible to live without failing at something, unless you live so cautiously that you might as well not have lived at all, in which case you fail by default." So here we feel this fiery confidence of Leo. And I wanted to highlight JK Rowling, which, by the way, I just looked up how to pronounce her last name because I kept going from Rowling to Rowling, and it is Rowling. I like her as this Leo expression because it is not just about being front and center on stage, which a lot of people will typecast Leo as, and I even, for the Leo Moon phrase in the Inner Dorothy personal myth, say front and center on stage. That is more acting as a metaphor for the confidence and the regalness that it takes to shine your light to the world in a way that is answering to your deeper callings, your deeper desires. And so the thing is she has this bold self-confidence. Her persistence and determination to follow through with her creative vision gives us the bold self-confidence of the Leo fixed fires. And so she came from, it's this like rags to riches story. She quit her job. She was like eating ramen noodles and rice or whatever, and because she knew that she had this story that needed to be told. And so she, in a very confident, bold, adventurous way, answered to the lion underneath that needed to be heard. And so this idea of the lion really comes forth in her work, and this play around with the Leo archetype is so vibrant in her work as well. And it gives us this other side to Leo that isn't so much about being the life of the party that Leo might often get called. And so for JK Rowling, for one, she is actually into astrology. She cast the birth chart for all of her characters, and of course she cast Harry Potter as a Leo himself, giving Harry Potter the same birthday as her. And so their birthday is July 31st, their shared birthday. So JK Rowling was born, and her birthday is July 31st, 1965, whereas Harry Potter's birthday is 1980. So, and then Daniel Radcliffe, who plays Harry Potter, is also a Leo, born on July 23rd, 1989. So we'll take a look at their birth charts and see what is coming up for us. But what's so cool about this Harry Potter character is it's connecting us to the hero side of Leo. Let me read this quote. It's a description of Harry's nature. It says this, quote, "You are protected, in short, by your ability to love." They're talking about Harry Potter. You are protected, in short, by your ability to love. We could also replace Harry Potter with Leo. The only protection that can possibly work against the lure of power like Voldemort. In spite of all the temptation you have endured, all of the suffering, you remain pure of heart, just as pure as you were at the age of 11. Hello, inner child healing. Hello, heart of the lion. When you stared into a mirror that reflected your heart's desire, and it showed you only the way to thwart Lord Voldemort, and not immortality or riches. Harry, you have any idea how few wizards could have seen what you saw in that mirror? So here we're connecting to the heart of the lion. We're connecting to the purity of heart's desire. And going along with that, not being tempted by riches or immortality. This is also reminding me of JK Rowling, who has become an incredible philanthropist. So she lost her billionaire status after giving away much of her earnings to charity, but still remains one of the wealthiest people in the world. So let's look at JK Rowling's birth chart and see what we might come up with here. Leo Sun, Virgo Moon, Aquarius Rising. A passionate little girl, Leo Sun, hard at work at her desk, Virgo Moon, bringing people together in a circle, Aquarius Rising. So this is the polarity of Leo and Aquarius. And I would like for you to listen to this clip of JK Rowling right now so that we can feel into this Leo Aquarius polarity.
This was wonderful, and I got to work with and form friendships with some immensely talented people. And I must say, and I could get very emotional saying this, but one of the things that I have been proudest of is going down to Leavesden and looking at all these people with all these jobs, hundreds and hundreds of people, and occasionally I've looked and I've thought, my God, these people have jobs because I had an idea on a train once.
So we feel into the inner child healing of creative expression, of fantasy, of this novel that's for children and teens. So the creative expression that connects us to a childlike or imagination energy. We feel the responsibility and the groundedness of confidence of the adult of Leo, with the ability to answer to the primal urge to express oneself and then to make a regal and royal life for yourself out of it. And then we connect to the higher self, which your rising sign is often your higher self. And this is connecting us to Aquarius rising, of giving back to humanity. So Leo is balanced by Aquarius, by not just thinking about the self, but also a world that's in need, by connecting us more to our cosmic truths. And then she expresses that. Of course, she says one of the things that she's most proudest of is all of the jobs that she's created for other people. But of course, she expresses that in a very Leo way through pride. She also says, I got to work with and form friendships with some immensely talented people. That feels very Leo to me too. The ability to create together with other people, to build camaraderie through creative expression by redefining beauty and creating opportunities for diversity. This is all the things that JK Rowling has done in her work. I'm going to get it right one of these times. So another quote about this character, Harry Potter, from Minerva McGonagall. This boy will be famous, a legend. I wouldn't be surprised if today was known as Harry Potter Day in the future. There will be books written about Harry Potter. Every child in our world will know his name. And so, of course, that's talking about in the novel, in the book, that Harry Potter will be famous. But it also, in some ways, feels like this was a seed that JK Rowling planted so that the words that she wrote here actually did come true, that every child in the world does know Harry Potter in many ways. And so this boy being famous, being a legend, this is also connecting us to the energy of Leo. So it's not necessarily about creative expression, but it can also connect us to being a hero. And Harry Potter is known as brave, loyal, adventurous, and he is in the house. There's 4 houses, right? And each of these 4 houses are actually the fixed signs of astrology. He's in the house of Gryffindor, which is the lion. JK Rowling really knew what she was doing in regards to these archetypal forces that are in astrology, which is cool because Leo evolves through Aquarius. Leo is really inspired by astrology. And some of our greatest astrologers and mystics are actually Leo. I'll name a few of them now. So we've got, K. Pacha does the Pele report, is a vibrant, passionate astrologer, is a passionate little boy, Gemini Moon, Scorpio Rising, or Scorpio North Node. We also have Alan Leo, who is the father of modern astrology. We've got Carl Jung, working with theories of the collective unconscious, right? Including the concept of archetypes, which is something that is very Aquarian, as these concepts of archetypes, and he was an Aquarius rising. And then we have Rachel Pollack, who wrote tarot wisdom and has created comic books, and her own tarot deck is a Leo sun with a Sagittarius moon. Also, Kim Kranz, the creator of The Wild Unknown, which is a deck that is very Leo. It's very expressive, and it uses animals to connect us to the archetypes. And Leo is very much connected to animal energy. Leo rules over pets and animals. And so when we're working with animal energy, like the lion, we're engaging with Leo. And then Pamela Coleman Smith is an Aquarius sun with a Leo moon, the illustrator of the Rider-Waite Tarot. So there's a lot of this Aquarius Leo polarity going on with some of our great mystics that have upgraded our archetypes and connected us to our cosmic truths in a way that is reminding us of our innate abilities to answer to our subconscious desires and passions and fire within. So it's really cool. So let's pull up JK Rowling's birth chart, and I'll highlight a few things that I'm noticing here. So we'll start with the sun in Leo, and it's in the 6th house, which is the Virgo house of work, shining a vibrant, passionate light through her work. And then that's the only thing she has in Leo, but she's got a major stellium in Virgo, Mercury, Venus, Uranus, Pluto, and the moon. To have the Virgo moon here, this is the ability to be intuitively connected to one's offering and work, to humbly devote yourself to your service. And Pluto there is doing it in a deeply psychological, transformative way. So I remember actually reading this or hearing this in an interview about JK Rowling, that she would work in her dreams. She would channel information in her dreams that would then become parts of the characters that she created or parts of the storyline. And so me as a Virgo moon, I think this is cool because I also dream about my work. I come up with new astrology concepts and new ways of communicating to you all on the podcast. In my dreams, I'll wake up and write things down. She's also got Uranus hanging out here too. This is innovation in her work. Venus can also connect us to our work. It's our creative process, and Mercury is the ability to communicate. So Mercury in Virgo is quite conceptual and intellectual and focused on fine-tuned details. So this major stellium is all in Virgo, and so very hardworking and devoted to her service. And then she's got Mars in Libra, channeling her ambition towards gender equality, which I think of with Hermione. Is she gave Hermione this really strong role as a triple Virgo, which is interesting, right? Hermione is a Virgo sun, moon, and rising when she cast her chart, and knowing that seems like Hermione is probably like her moon energy, and then Harry is more like her sun energy, the Leo sun. She's got Neptune and Scorpio in the 8th house. Neptune is imagination. So this is really important for us to look at. And Scorpio is witches. Imagination that's connecting us to witchcraft and esoteric practices. 8th house is also doubling that energy. And then her midheaven is in Sagittarius, expanding the horizons of our world. And then Aquarius rising, waking up to her potential to bringing people together, to bringing equality and information to humanity. And then she's got her Saturn in Pisces. She is committed to creating magical other worlds. And then maybe most importantly is her North Node in Gemini, next to her Jupiter in Gemini. North Node is your life's purpose, where you're heading towards in this lifetime, communicating, writing, publication, communicating light and dark, and doing it in an expansive, over-the-top way. So you can also use the North Node to feel into life's purpose as well as the rising sign. So she has this trine action that's happening between the North Node and the rising. So the rising energy of being humanitarian, which is balancing her Leo sun, is also communicating with her purpose to be a writer, and in a really big way, Jupiter, which is also the placement of fortune. And so let's also look at Harry Potter's birth chart to understand Harry a little bit more. Harry is a passionate little boy, or a brave little boy, Leo sun, on a magical boat out to sea, Pisces moon, inspiring us all with his warmth, Leo rising. Interesting, Pisces moon is polar to her Virgo moon. So there is a lot of evolution through Pisces that we feel with her Virgo energy. And Harry also, let's see, he's got his Uranus in Scorpio, is innovative in regards to esoteric arts. And Neptune in Sagittarius is connecting to spirituality and mysticism through philosophy, through religion, through outward adventure. That makes me think of him on a broom playing Quidditch, the Neptune in Sagittarius there. And then let's pull up Daniel Radcliffe's chart, since he's also a Leo and he was cast to play Harry Potter. So Daniel Radcliffe was born on July 23rd, 1989, and has Sun in Leo, Mercury, Mars, and Venus all hanging out in Leo. Then he's got his moon in Aries, and his North Node, we don't know his rising sign, his North Node is in Aquarius. Again, more of this Aquarian energy coming into play with Leo. And so, what an honor it's been to look at JK Rowling's life and birth chart and to honor her. Again, she is a passionate little girl, Leo sun, hard at work at her desk, Virgo moon, bringing people together in a circle, Aquarius rising, and delivering messages from beyond, Gemini North Node. And that's exactly what she's done through her life and work. Thank you, JK Rowling, for continuing to inspire us all. Happy solar return to you and to all of our fierce, bold Leos. Thank you, as always, Cosmic Cousins, for tuning into the show. If you'd like to book a reading with me, astrologycousins.com. Sign up for the newsletter. There's a link in the show notes. Also, if you'd like to get your Queen of Virgo t-shirt or coffee mug, you can send me an email letting me know that. And please, if you're enjoying the show, you could rate 5 stars on iTunes and leave some comments and love. I'll read a review for you right now. This comes from Karina Rosella. Jeff put so much work, research, and love into the creation of this podcast, and it shows. I love listening to the astrological aspects and placements related to famous people, and that he chooses to focus on social justice and humanitarian issues. Thank you for this work, Jeff. And thank you, Karina. And thank you, cousins, as always, for carving out the space in your life. I'm sending you all new moon blessings, and I'll see you for the Aquarius full moon in 2 weeks. Take sweet care, cousins, and remember, deep breaths.